Welcome and good morning. It's currently 9:03 a.m. and this is going to be like a raw, unfiltered video. No edits, no cuts. Just going to be sharing my thoughts on the current job market, specifically the tech job market and life after new grad, being a new graduate student, studying computer science, and just talking about a lot of shared and common experiences that everyone's going through at this rate. One of the things that people really don't talk about is I feel like a lot of us as computer science students we're expected to know a lot and the bar is set very high, but going through school, GPT entered into it started booming. I think I was a sophomore. The first model came out, and you can use GPT to learn, right? But you can also use it as a crutch. It depends on how you rely on it, and it could get pretty dangerous because honestly, I think it's better that you go ahead and learn everything from scratch. That's my opinion. It's really important that we fundamentally understand these things, right? Um, the bar is set very, very high, and um people that I know are struggling. It's so frustrating. I understand you guys where we're facing countless applications though where you probably have lost count, and you're dealing in a job market where jobs are down probably like 35%. Entry level jobs require you hear it like 3 to 5 years of experience, but how are you going to get that experience um if you're a new grad, like, and maybe you're unfortunately you didn't land an internship. People are fighting, they're fighting their lives, they're sacrificing their mental health on just to scrape by, just for anything, maybe even taking like unpaid internships just to get some experience. And I feel that very, very much, and it resonates with me a lot because you really sometimes don't know where to start. No one really tells you if you're specializing in whatever field to kind of like dip your toes into maybe full stack engineering. I'm specifically talking about us comp sci students. You work on maybe networking, databases, AIML data, big data, machine learning, uh, maybe even some game development. And like, there's also the story of leak code. I actually started tracking my own progress just by going through the basics again, going through problems I've solved over and over again, just to be prepping for these interviews. And you can sometimes people decide what is insanity, right? What is insanity? Let me move my camera over here, center it. Insanity is maybe doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results, right? And at this point, when you're applying to thousands and thousands, like so many jobs, and you're putting in so much effort, maybe some of them you get the OA, you make it through round one, the behavioral, round two, round three, and there's still a chance that you can do all of this and still get rejected. Okay, and just let that sink in. Drink some coffee. That is very, very like heartbreaking. I'm someone that I love learning, you know. Um I think my passion for learning has, like, ever since growing up, I've loved building computers, I've loved systems, I love gaming. I like to put a lot of effort into the things I do, which is why I think computer science was so attractive to me, because all of these concepts that you learn in class, sometimes it's not as, you have to put a lot of effort into actually understanding the concepts. And obviously some people pick it up faster, some people like me, we like to visualize it, and then it takes a little bit longer for us to click, but eventually if you stick around long enough, you don't get discouraged, you'll make it. It's just that I see so many of these people that are so qualified, so smart, and they're just struggling, and it's not their fault. And a lot of people are just maybe rethinking the whole engineering route. If you were going through college, um, some people have to work jobs. Some people are on FAFSA, they're on student aid. Some people are not as fortunate. Maybe they do have to work full time. So I'm very grateful for all any opportunity that presents itself in front of me. You know, yeah, I got to be grateful for all of these things, right? They have to they end up maybe working somewhere part time or like just to try to get by, and then you end up thinking like, was school really worth it? Because computer science in general, tech in general, engineering, STEM in general, engineering like comp sci and stress go through it's hand in hand. You know, you can't have computer science without stress because you might be taking like two comp sci classes. On top of that, you're taking another math class. Maybe it's like Calc 3, differential equations, linear algebra. Um, if you're lucky, my school personally, we only took up like it doesn't require as much math as it would as if you took like the computer engineering route where you would have to take chemistry and the physics lab. All of that stuff is so time consuming. So trying to balance school, I understand like I understand the struggle. Trying to balance school. Maybe you're trying to work out. Try to get fit. You have a passion. You like music. You like art. You want to do some other stuff with your life. You got a passion. Maybe for me, it was powerlifting, for example. Sometimes when you're balancing all of these things, you have to sacrifice the things that you want the most. And all to fight the good fight because you're trying to, at the end of the day, we're trying to graduate, get a job. Personally, come from my parents, are immigrant parents. Like, I'm Cantonese. So a lot of my motivation for wanting to do so well and pick myself back up was to give back to them. You know, parents paying for your schooling. I can't take that for granted. A lot of us probably resonate with that. We want to make our parents proud. We want to make our siblings proud, our brothers, our sisters, even our friends. We want to make the close ones proud. And when you graduate with a 4-year degree and like not having anything to show for it, basically, because you could have did the clubs, you could have been involved, very involved in student life, um, but most people in their freshman and sophomore year I've seen, they they don't get involved. Like I saw this post recently where it was saying how to get into a good college. Remember when we used to do our apps for college? You have to do extracurriculars. Same thing. But when you get to college, I think it's because when you choose a major that's more difficult, you end up getting complacent. So you want to just get by. Maybe you're happy with a C or happy with a B. Like that 4.0 GPA is kind of harder to maintain. All of this while trying to maintain a perfect GPA, trying to do your extracurriculars. Maybe you work, like I've said before. It's really hard because you're trying to apply and then apply, but then you're stressed because you're sacrificing time to apply to these jobs just for you don't even know if you're gonna get it and if it was worth it. And those rejection letters, like I'm used to, I like you get numb to it at a certain point, right? You got to like we just keep doing it, we just keep going until you finally break through. I'm not gonna sit here and say like some basic advice where like you should make like a portfolio website. I mean, you should, but I think it's more so of like I just wanted to share my thoughts and opinions and just speak my mind after 4 years of college because at the end of the day, sometimes when you're so busy focusing on the destination, you forget to live life and then appreciate. You can't even appreciate the small things anymore. I mean, we always appreciate coffee, like I said. I know a lot of you guys probably drink a lot of coffee. I spent a lot of time my last 2 semesters of college just at the library, and I was I was by no means an amazing student going through undergrad. I failed some classes. I had to retake some classes. I didn't get perfect grades. However, during my junior year, when I realized that everyone was getting internships and everyone was already on the move, that sense of urgency didn't really require, like, it didn't really hit me yet. And now I've grown into a person that takes things more seriously. Um, I'm more selfish with my time, and that's if you watching this, you're completely selfish with your time. I know you're probably the type of person that would want to, like, you want to help other people, you want to make sure everyone's good, right? Maybe it's a little bit of people pleasing, right? However, it's completely okay to be selfish with your time. In fact, I wouldn't even consider it selfish at all. Because as long as you're good, you're taking care of yourself, sometimes that's just what you need. And friends and family that care about you will completely understand if you had to get your stuff together. Sorry, I'm not gonna curse, but get your shit together, right? You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna blame you. They're not gonna hold you against you saying that, like, maybe you do have to go like ghost for a while. Maybe you do have to hit the library like harder, right? So I saw, fortunately, I had a really good group of friends that taught me a lot and got me more involved. So opportunities and more doors would open up for me. And I was complacent because those classes were kind of killing me. I'm by no means like the smartest in the room, right? So I was just happy, like, just passing the class, just like getting through the degree. And the passion was slowly slipping away because of the stress levels, right? Cortisol's high. You're trying to like catch up on sleep, but then you can't because like it's deadline after deadline. Professor releases a homework assignment. You got to be on that. You got to start early, right? But then as soon as you submit, part two's out, part three's out. Then you got like lab to go to, um, you know. So it just gets really busy, and it's really hard if you have anything else that you want to do. Maybe, and I've mentioned like previously, like 2 times already, like you're working, maybe you're working, you're trying to build something, and this doesn't really leave a lot of time for like your friends and family. It doesn't leave a lot of time for anything, let alone sleep, right? Like you barely get away. I remember I was sleeping like I wasn't sleeping. I was sleeping like 2 to 3 hours, man. Funny enough, it's actually unbelievable to this point that us engineering students get, you know. But when you do get that first job offer, when you do get that feeling of success, it's like dopamine. The dopamine hits, you know, it hits for a little bit, but then it goes back to normal, and then you're wondering, it doesn't really feel, does it really feel any different? You're like run chasing the feeling, you're chasing the high. You're finding the good fight. And I just wanted to come on here and say that you're not alone. You know, a bunch of us here are not like gonna give up, but it's honestly a really really bad time right now. Um, for entry level jobs. It's kind of disheartening that I see, again, so many talented people not. I want the best for everyone. Like the to I believe that if you work hard enough, things will come your way, right? When opportunity meets preparation, that is the recipe for success. And you've probably heard this a lot. I know when I was struggling, I didn't really take advice from people that I should have, you know? And what I learned from that is that if you put your all into everything, into computer science, into whatever it is that you're trying to do, you can't have any regrets because if you were to look back, you could say, hey, I tried my best, did my all. I fought the good fight. Even if it didn't work out, that's okay. You know? Same thing for all these job offers, right? Apply to this company, you apply to that company. The company maybe didn't want you. Deal with rejection, right? We deal with rejection every day. It's just what you choose to do with the rejection that makes it you got to show sometimes that grit, because if you're an engineering student, you have to have grit. These concepts, like they don't come easy. The six-figure salary doesn't come easy. I think like this is very very niche, but like there's like a bunch of like those influencers or like the people that th- like even I was influenced by it, but I mainly joined computer science for a different reason that I won't get into. It's like basically like it became like a trend to study this stuff, and they hear like six figures, um, good money, good work life balance. But my honest thoughts on that is a bit different than what was expected actually. Computer science and software engineering in the big 2026, right, is becoming a lot more. It's so competitive now just because of what I described in the last 10 minutes. Your degree, if you are watching this and you're maybe just applying to college, or if you're a sophomore, or if you're like freshman, if you're, not yet in your junior year, do not take the opportunities your school um, gives you for granted. Work hard, study hard. Like sometimes like your life depends on it because it's really rough out here. Build that LinkedIn, build that connections, build the connections up, and be proud and become someone that you're proud of because you're willing to put in the hard work when the results are slow or they seem impossible and out of reach. It's very I when I meet someone for the first time and then I they tell me about a little bit about their background. Like I mean, I guess in these like today we say real recognize real, you know what I'm saying? Um but you can kind of see in their eyes that like they're tired, they're dead, that like but I know that I take pride in it, I take pride in it. It's definitely not for everyone. The high stress, the deadline on top of deadlines, it's not for everyone. And you shouldn't look at trying to find a different path or trying to like navigate through your life. You shouldn't look as that as like fuck, like I'm failing. Like that's it's not it. Um it's very rare that to build these skills that some people are natural born like they just got it like that. Smart. But if you really want something, I believe that the hard work will always shine through, right? And for me, I wanted that software engineering title, I wanted that so bad that it kind of ruined the it ruined a lot of relationships for me. Whether that be with food, with my hobbies, with the gym, with even my loved ones, people that I really, really care about. And that's sometimes the price that you have to pay in order to become successful. So that's why I don't think people talk enough about mental health for students at all. I mean, you have student like mental health counseling services, but who really I don't know anyone that really sometimes it's like when you need help, it's embarrassing to ask for help, right? Because you don't want to show yourself as weak. So that's why you suck it up. You keep going, you keep fighting the good fight, right? You just keep your problems to yourself. But it's okay not to see some things in a different light, right? Software engineering right now in general. Again, I said like what I wanted the title, right? But there are so many other branches of technology. Um, some computer science students might look down on IT because they want that software engineering title. Um, IT can lead to cybersecurity sector that's not that talked about. To security engineering roles, IAM roles. There's always a path, and you have to believe that in order to keep going. Because at this point, it's insanity, right? There's no plan A. I mean, there's no plan B, right? I was once like very egotistical, and apologies for the background if you guys can hear that. But, anyways, basically, what I'm trying to say is that there is a broad, like, engineering, like tech is just an umbrella term. Like, you could be a software engineer on an infrastructure team. You could be on, you could be a forward deployed. You could be AIML. You could just be you could be a software engineer for automation. Right now, this is a little bit more technical. The trend is a lot of these companies are, as we all know, they're integrating AI to automate a lot of workflows through AI agents, training them maybe through Microsoft Copilot, right? These are the skills that technology, like I said, is constantly changing, and it takes a lot to keep up with it. You have to be, let alone being like, I can't believe like those site reliability engineers are on call 24/7. Like, imagine like 3 a.m. they paid you saying like, hey, you got to take a look at this, man. I don't know if I could do that personally. I need my sleep, but maybe if the check is big enough, sure. You sacrifice your health for it, and this is not talked about enough because you feel like you're always on call 24/7 and you're just waiting for the deadline. So life kind of slips away, like it just becomes a norm, and then you don't really get to do what you really want to do. Um, but yeah, like, honestly, as a new grad, like, no one, at least for me, I didn't really think about what I wanted to do. Like, when I chose computer science, and then when I eventually went into, so I do have previous software engineering experience. I've interned before, and I will be starting. I'm not unemployed, is what um I did talk a little bit about, like, I did make it out, you know. I broke into tech. And that journey for me was probably a bit different than most people's journeys because I didn't turn it around until maybe like up to my senior year of college, when I realized that, hey, it's time to like you know, it's time to lock in, right? You just be like, I don't like saying that because in reality, if you're locking in, you should be more of the type as like, you are just the type of person that locks in, you just become the person that's disciplined. You just, these things just come natural to you. They shouldn't be like, oh my God, like New Year's, it's time for me to lock in. It shouldn't be like that. It's never going to work out that way because New Year's is around that time where New Year's resolutions, you see it a lot when like people try to go to the gym, try to get fit. And it doesn't stick because at the end of the day, like, when you're going through something difficult, not a lot of people might be willing to support you. They might not believe in you. But I'm saying all you need is the thoughts in your head. All you need is yourself. And I'm not saying to cut off like your friends and family. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to keep good relationships. But I'm saying the will to succeed in life, all you need is that one dot to get you going. A lot of people have different motivations. For me, there were a ton of factors, mainly wanting to make my parents proud, my brother proud, and show them that, like the classic, like, yo, you're not a disappointment. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of us face through that, like the constant criticism when you're trying to do something. And if you are still watching, it's like 25 minutes in. I'm looking at the recording on this left screen. I just wanted to say, I honestly wish you the best of luck in whatever you're trying to do in this life. It's very difficult, and we don't really support each other enough. You know, I feel like a lot of people, I've talked to this about like previously, my TikTok, but we don't. A lot of people lack the sense of community, right? And then that's what draws us, like shared experience as engineering students. When a lot of things are go unspoken because you just know how it is. When someone's tired, when you see a student like fall asleep in class, be like, damn, yeah, take a white monster, bro. You know what I'm saying? We'll be alright. We'll get through it. Like, midterm week rolling around, you got like interview prep to do, you got some other shit to do. It's like, damn, a lot of things go unspoken, right? Again, real recognize the real. But at the end of the day, as long as you don't give up, and I know that you might hate me for saying that, right? But nothing in this life comes easy. You just get stronger. Just like when you're going through your degree, let's say you chose engineering. The coursework does not get easier, right? And then you have like the master's students that like you sit in with all of them. Maybe it's like a mix of undergrad and grad students. You take one of those courses, upper level courses, and you're just like, damn, like you got to derive all these equations. You got to memorize. You got to actually know it. You got to know the math, or the physics, depending on what you study, right? Anyways, I hope you guys can take away from this video that please take care of yourself. It's okay to not have everything figured out right now. I think social media places that expectation on us because you see like a lot of like people post their wins on social media, like they post their successes. We see it; it's in your face 24/7, and it's really easy to become obsessive with it to a point where you don't take care of yourself, and it's really easy to be sleep deprived, not drinking enough water, not get food in, right? So I wanted to let you guys know that if you are listening to this, again, thank you for watching. And maybe I'll continue this, make it a little bit of a series. But I'm just gonna keep this relatively to like 30 minutes. I think that's a good time. But anytime I have like these thoughts, like I know we're all thinking these like a lot. There are a lot of us out there that are dealing with a lot. So be kind to each other, right? Take care of each other, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day. Drink some coffee.